Hello guys, it's Chaucer here doing another Beyblade unboxing, this time on the Xtreme Battle Set. Yes, I finally have Hasbro Beyblade X. My set just came in like an hour ago, so here to check out. Unfortunately, this is too big of a box for my my setup here, but we can go ahead and take a look at some parts of the box. Flipping it over though, we have everything you can see here. So, got the stadium with the accelerator rail. You can see both the launchers there, both of the bays. With Dagger Dran 460 Rush and Tusk Mammoth 360 Taper. With those said, I'm just going to be referring to these as the Japanese names as I prefer those. So Xtreme Line for the stadium, and then DranDagger, MammothTusk. And I know this is a Hasbro exclusive bay, but that does follow the Japanese naming convention. So that's what we'll be going for. So anyway, I want to just talk about the set, what I think about it. Is it good? And right off the bat, I do take issue with the set a little bit because it is $50. In Japan, there are similar sets, like the entry set, both the original and then the UX one. Those have a stadium, 2 launchers, 2 bays, exact same setup as this, but that is 6,050 yen, and converting that to USD, it's a little under $40, so it is cheaper. So, can the set, hold up? Is it good? I might draw some comparisons to those and just talk about if they're good or not, but anyway. So how does the set hold up? Let's find out, and go ahead and open up everything, which I'll just do off camera because otherwise we'll be here for like a half hour. Alright, so first up here we do have the instructions and whatnot, but anyway, that's kind of unimportant. So first up is the stadium. So stadium, you can see here we have the logo and whatnot right there. That's pretty nice. You can see the Xtreme line, the green part inside of there. Also pretty nice. Now this stadium's kind of weird because, so basically, okay, I can't show and compare these stadiums, unfortunately. I just don't have a big enough setup for that. But, so this area in here is much smaller. The length of the stadium is roughly the same, but the width, it's much more narrow. It's more of an oval shape inside. So this has a few effects. So first up, it makes kind of the bay battles a little bit more chaotic because, again, not a lot of room to, move around. Bays probably can get to the Xtreme line a bit easier because of that. There's just not a lot of room, which definitely makes this a pretty attack-heavy stadium, which is interesting. Also, I'm not a physics expert. I'm just going to say that right now. I could be wrong. This is conjecture on my part, but being more of an oval shape, I feel like the Xtreme line could be a bit slower. Having a better curve, because the other one's more circular, I feel like should let the bays build up momentum better. This part right here probably built up momentum really well, but I can imagine it maybe losing a bit around like here. Although you do get this nice part where you quickly kind of jolt off of the stadium on this curve right here and fly in. So you'll still be very fast, so that's not a big concern, but I am wondering, I do think it's possible these bays will be a bit slower, and not to mention, there's just less room in general on this thing, because again, it is smaller. So the bays might not build up quite as much momentum as the Takarakomi Stadium, but is what it is. So as far as why this is, I've heard 2 reasons. The first one is safety concerns. Again, if it is slower and that's true, then I could see that being the case. However, I don't have anything concrete on that. But the main thing I've heard is shelf space. Apparently the boxes can't be too big, and the Takarakomi Stadiums would make it too big. So if that's the case, fair enough. They did what they could. So yeah. Also, these pockets right here are, let me actually change sides here so you can maybe see in a little bit better, hopefully. Kind of. Not really. Okay. Okay, this is probably the better way to do it. So, these pockets in here are actually a bit bigger, which is nice. So the bays should stay in there better. So again, if that's, that should help. I mean, because sometimes the bays in Takarakomi Stadium do fly back out, so it should help. So overall, what do you think about the stadium? Is it good? Is it bad? I think it's good. I think the Takarakomi Stadium is still better. I do think the pockets are nicer here, but like, Yeah, I prefer more surface area. Feels a little bit more balanced from what I can tell. Yeah, it's a little bit better, but at the same time, the stadium seems perfectly good. If you don't want to import a stadium or like one of the stadium sets, because again, while they're not that expensive in Japan, well, import costs right now are absolutely abysmal. So, this might just be a better option, and it's definitely a hell of a lot better than the those green stadiums that they have. Those don't seem very good. So, if you want a Hasbro stadium, this is probably going to be the best way to go. I'd say it's a pretty solid stadium, and I wouldn't really count this against Hasbro. More so, just neutral. While I do slightly prefer the Takatomi Stadium. Again, if the shelf space thing is an issue, then again, I'm just fairly neutral between both of them, I'd say. Alright, finally, I can have an actual decent looking setup now that I'm not showing things that are too big for my setup. So anyway, the launchers. What do I think about these launchers? This is the real issue I have with the set, like the first big one. Okay, so let's just take a look at these real quick. You get two of them, they're the exact same. Yeah, these are your launchers. They're launchers for sure. Yeah, I mean, great. Okay. My problem with these launchers, so I've heard different arguments to why these exist or could exist. So first up, I heard that they keep the starters cheaper. The starters are $10 each. If they had the regular ripcord launchers, they'd be more expensive. But that argument doesn't apply here because these are not starters, so I'll save that for a different video. Probably my Beyblade discussion I do in a couple weeks with my first impressions on Hasbro Beyblade X. But the other reason I've heard is durability, because the bays in stadiums, the Takatomi counterparts, there have been some durability cases, durability issues. Some cases of that I could not talk for some reason. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Anyway, so if there have been some cases of wear, there we go. That's an easier way to say it. Having weaker launchers could help with that, but I don't fully agree with that because if there were really durability concerns, first up, make the molds better. Second, why offer a string launcher and ripcord launcher of the same, level if that was really a concern because they're still easily available. I don't know. Anyway, the problem that really comes to mind for me is that this is a $50 set. Again, that's more expensive than the Takatomi counterpart, and I think we should have gotten the actual ripcord launchers here. Again, durability and whatnot, I can understand the arguments and issues with that, but still, I feel like you're paying a lot for a set. People are still going to want the better winders. Again, if you're playing Beyblade, regardless of durability issues, people are going to want the strongest launchers for obvious reasons. Unless if we just ban everything except for these launchers, what are we going to do? So, with that in mind, yes, this set should have come with the regular ripcord launchers. Because now, they're I think they're $7-8 separately? Around there? Minimum, you're probably paying like $15 extra if you want two of those. So $15 extra on top of a $50 set, I take issue with that. Also, if durability was an issue, fair enough. However, make the launchers larger. I'm sorry, what am I supposed to do with this? How do I I can barely hold this. What is this? Okay then, I can barely hold it. Now, yes, I do have large hands. I am an adult. However, even for a kid, I can imagine this being fairly uncomfortable, which is probably probably an issue. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with these launchers. Again, even if you want to make the durability argument, I just feel like they could have made these better. So, yeah, again, in this set, these definitely should not have been these launchers if you're paying $50 for a set. So, this is definitely a big, big negative in my mind. I really don't like this at all. And finally, we get to the bays. So I have these actually still in their plastic. So I just get everything out. So, okay. First up here, we have, I guess we'll start with the blade, honestly. DranDagger. This is a blade that was released in the DranDagger deck set, in the Takatomi counterpart. So regardless of how you get this thing, it is a deck exclusive, well, a set exclusive, I should say, either the DranDagger deck set or this Xtreme set. kind of unfortunate, but is what it is. So yeah, this is a really, really interesting looking blade. There you go. QR code. I don't think I'm going to use the app, so I don't know if these are like one time or not. I don't think they are. Anyway. Looks very, well, I'm not the biggest fan of this blade personally, but like, it looks exactly like a Takatomi one, I think. Of course, has the 6 sides, meant to be kind of a barrage attacker, which is, fine enough. Anyway. Ratchet is 460. So, not my favorite ratchet for this thing, thematically, but it's what it is. Not a great ratchet to use either, but, I mean, it looks cool enough. I like the blue and white. And then the rush bits, this of course has some extra burst resistance, but it's kind of a more controlled flat, and then also you only have the 10 gears here, which will make this a bit slower on the extreme line, however, uses up less stamina on the extreme line, so it should be a bit more reliable in that sense, so that's pretty nice. Just to do a comparison to my actual DranDagger, I want to see if it's any different. Left is Takatomi, right is Hasbro. These look the exact same. The colors, I think, no, not just lighting, never mind. They're the exact same. I'm fairly certain on that. 460s, these also look the exact same. Again, lighting might be making them look a little different, but I don't think they are. They look the same. Again, left Takatomi, right is Hasbro. And then the DranDagger blades. Same, left side Takatomi, right side Hasbro. No, these look the exact same. Aside from the QR code, but no. Yeah, these are 1-to-1 base, it looks like, which is really interesting. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I kind of figured they were, but still, I wanted to just check, obviously. I'll actually do some weight comparisons. I do want to see if they're slightly different. That's not a big deal. Again, sometimes the parts do vary in weight, so it's not a big deal if they're different, but I'm just curious if there's any massive differences. Takatomi Rush is about 2.04 grams. The Hasbro version, about 2.03 again. Parts can vary a little bit, so not a big deal. 460 for Takatomi is 6.3. Hasbro, 6.28. Okay, basically the same. DranDagger from Takatomi is 34.71. And Hasbro, 35.03. Metal definitely is the biggest difference, so my DranDagger is actually heavier from Hasbro, and again, you can see, QR code, it is Hasbro. So, yeah, the total weight of them, Hasbro one should be heavier, but Takatomi one, total weight, 43.05 grams, and for Hasbro, 43.36, so yeah, a bit heavier. So there you have it. Hasbro weights are comparable to Takatomi, so there shouldn't be any issues with that either, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, put this together. If I could do that, yeah, there we go. So there is DranDagger 460 Rush. Again, not my favorite bay in terms of appearance, but thematically speaking, I like the idea of kind of a barrage attacker. Again, Rush works very well with that idea. And hey, Rush and DranDagger, pretty solid parts, so that's also pretty nice. So, cool. However, now we get to the big one, the Hasbro exclusive bay, MammothTusk. So this one is going to be really interesting to look at. Okay, so first up here, we have Taper. Nothing too crazy about Taper. It's literally just Taper. Yeah, it's Taper. Okay. Color's kind of like this purple-ish color. I really like this color a lot. Looks very, very nice. So, nice color for that. Next up for the part, for the ratchet, we have 360. Transparent center, and then we have like this hot pink, like this translucent hot pink on the outside, which is a very, very cool color choice. Yeah, big fan of this one. I like the color a lot here. And then, of course, the bay itself here, MammothTusk. Now this is based on Hellscythe, so yeah, these Hasbro exclusives are based on other blades, and they don't have unique parts, unfortunately, but yeah, they are based on other blades, but still, nice to get some new stuff. I do think this one is probably going to be a bit worse. It seems a little bit more jagged, but anyway. Again, I don't really care as much about competitive. I don't battle, but yeah. In terms of appearance, I already like this thing a lot. Yeah, this is a really nice looking bay. Again, I like the kind of pink color under here, and yeah, I mean, the gear chip is kind of also like a translucent purple. Really cool looking bay. I like the gear chip sticker as well, so yeah. Gonna do some parts weights here. I don't care as much about the full combo here, I just want to know the blades and if it's different to Hellscythe or not, so I'm taking apart my Hellscythe. Okay. Check out Hellscythe's weight. Okay, there we go. So Hellscythe is going to be 32.74 grams. Cool. And then MammothTusk 32.48. So yeah, it's a little bit lighter. So kind of unfortunate, but is what it is, I guess. 360, 6.25. Taper, 2.16, and full combo going to weigh about 40.9. So on the lighter end of X bays, I would say, at least kind of. But again, is what it is. Not too upset about that. Anyway, quick comparison here to Hellscythe to MammothTusk. So you definitely kind of see where this thing takes inspiration from on this thing. Actually looks a little bit different than I thought. It's a little bit more dynamic looking, I would say. So underneath it, you could definitely tell like the plastic is like a 1-to-1 basically. So yeah, still see where it like takes inspiration from. But yeah, anyway, let's put this thing together. See what it looks like. I'll talk about the bay after, but yeah. Okay, so here is MammothTusk 360 taper. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, that color design goes crazy. Okay, so I don't care much about competitive. I'm just going to say that right now. And okay, let me actually put this the other way while I talk. So competitive, I don't care. However, I do care about the thematic design as well as the physical design. Thematic design, I'm going to give this thing probably like a 4 out of 10, honestly. It is just, you know, reusing parts. It reuses 360, which I don't think entirely matches up with the blade. Reuses taper, which this thing's already kind of based on Hellscythe, so kind of unfortunate. But the blade does look very cool. I mean, it's at least something new. It works as a balance type. I mean, yeah, conceptually, I give this thing like a 4 out of 10 because it's very similar to Hellscythe, but again, it works, I guess. However, for the physical design of this thing, I'm giving this thing, honestly, an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good looking bay. I mean, the bay itself, like the physical design, looks solid. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing crazy either. However, the color scheme on this thing is crazy. I really like the color scheme on this thing a lot. One of my favorites in Beyblade X so far, for sure. So with the bays out of the way, what do I think about these bays? I'm split. Okay. The bays themselves are great, right? These are very good bays. They're obviously like Takatomi bays, which is very nice. However, my problem. So, in order to get these bays, you have to buy the sets. See, with the Takatomi sets, they're just recolors of the bays. The entry set gives you recolors of Drawn Sword and Wizard Arrow. the UX one of Drum Buster and Wizard Rod. As of right now, the only way to get Hasbro, DranDagger, and MammothTusk is to buy this set, which is unfortunate. But on the other end of things, well, you're probably going to want the set anyway because the other Stadium from Hasbro isn't very good. So if you're going to buy the set anyway, well, you get 2 bays out of it, which is really nice, and they're, new bays. So I'm not going to, it's like a Stadium, I'm not going to count this as a point against the set, but not as a point for it either. And also MammothTusk, even though I really like its physical design, it is fairly interesting. I mean, 360 taper, these are parts you can get from other products. Again, 360s from Drawn Sword, taper from Hell Scythe, and the blade itself is just based on Hell Scythe, so I mean, is what it is, I guess, but yeah. So kind of mix on that front, but overall it's still a pretty solid lineup of bays. I mean, again, if you're going to buy this set, which you probably are, if you're getting into Hasbro Beyblade X, well, you at least get 2 new bays, so that's cool. But again, if you didn't want to buy this set, then it is unfortunate, because, like me, I already have the Takatomi Stadiums and stuff, and I didn't particularly want to spend $50 on a set, but one of these bays, well, mainly the exclusive here, but still, yeah, it is what it is, I guess, so not a huge deal, but yeah, I'm a little bit mixed on it, to say the least. Alright, now to give kind of my conclusion on this set, I think this set is fairly decent. The Stadium, again, I don't know if I'd quite put it on Takatomi's level, but they're in the same tier at the same time. It's fairly close, so if you don't want to import a Stadium, this is a perfectly good Stadium. You get the gimmick, it works properly, it's still going to be a lot of fun, I imagine. The bays themselves, I mixed on them being exclusives, but it's still, if you're going to buy a set, you get new bays, that's cool. The bays themselves look great. They're Takatomi quality. Amazing. And I mean, DranDagger is a pretty cool bay. MammothTusk is an exclusive. Not the most interesting bay, but hey, it's still an exclusive, so that's cool. The launchers, though, those could have used some work. I really think we should have just gotten normal Ripcord launchers, especially for a $50 set. And yeah, that's my problem here, is you get 2 bays in here, same as the Takatomi entry sets. You get a Stadium that's arguably slightly worse, and then you get 2 launchers that are significantly worse, and this is a $50 set, those are $40, I really don't like that. For $10 extra to be worse, kind of an L. Sorry to say. That said, it's still a decent set though. I'll give it probably like a 5 out of 10. I think they, again, could have made these launchers better. Could have brought down the price to $40 anyway, but yeah. Regardless of launchers, I think they should have been $40, not $50, which is a big issue for me personally, because again, adds to the barrier of entry for Beyblade, which is unfortunate, so yeah, I mean, if you buy 2 starters as well, because again, a bay plus a launcher, $10, so 2 of those is 20, so you're spending $30 on the Stadium, basically. That should have come down to 20, I'd say. Especially because it is just a big set, so I think 40, again, it'd be more fair. So with that said, 5 out of 10, decent set, some missteps, but still solid enough, and I probably, regardless, would recommend it if you are not going to be buying a Takatomi set or Stadium. You're going to want the Stadium over the other green one that they have out right now. Now, even though I gave it a kind of mixed review, I have to say, though, I am just very excited to see Hasbro actually releasing products that are good and not absolute garbage like they did in Burst. So even though I'm a little bit mixed on the Stadium set, I'm honestly just happy to have a good Hasbro product for once. Like, it's something that's good enough. And also, this is probably like my least favorite product of theirs so far. It's like all the other stuff's looking really good, and I'm just excited to get into that stuff once I get them. But yeah, for now, just happy to see Hasbro back. Happy to be able to just buy a Beyblade product from a store, or just like from Amazon, like locally. It's great, you know. It's nice to be able to do that finally, because I have not bought a Hasbro Beyblade product since the very start of Burst, which was like 7.5 years ago. Bought one, didn't like it, never bought another one. So now for Beyblade X, I am back to buying Hasbro stuff. I'm not going to rebuy the same things I've already bought, but I will buy like exclusives and stuff, so that'll be fun. So yeah, overall, decent set, but at the same time, I am just glad to see Hasbro not releasing garbage, so it is still like, very, very exciting nonetheless. So yeah, I would still recommend this if you're just gonna get into Hasbro Burst or Hasbro Beyblade X. Over trying to import a Talcatomi set or Stadium. So yeah, decent enough. It's something, and you get an exclusive bay, I guess, if you buy it. So that's pretty neat. I think that's basically everything I have to say about the set. So yeah, anyway, that's all for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye bye.